All right. Hopefully, all of this is working. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you happen to be. Maybe even good evening. I know some of you guys are around the world from me. Like I said, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope everybody's doing well out there. Honestly, I don't have anything planned for today, so I thought we would just hang out and I would answer some questions. We could talk about containers, or Docker, or whatever you want to talk about this morning. I'm sure we'll have some ideas come up in the chat. I've got some ideas. There's some stuff we can talk about a little bit. If you got other container ideas like we talked about last week, I've got a list up here that I've kind of looked through that we can talk about a little bit, and maybe we can add some more to that list. So let's see what let's see what's going on in the chat. I am doing things a little bit differently this morning. I do want to mention that normally I use OBS Studios to facilitate all my desktop recording and live streaming and things like that. But I decided to switch over to Streamlabs OBS because it actually integrates a little bit better for live streaming, that sort of thing. So things may look and act a little bit different this morning than they have in past live streams. So just know that that is something to keep an eye out for as well. I changed some of the bot rules. We ran into some issues last week of the bots being like hypercritical. I was able to dial those back down a little bit, I hope. Again, I'm still kind of learning some of this live streams. So I told the bots to just chill out a bit. We had a nice long meeting about that. No, it was just a couple of toggles I had to turn off. So that should be good to go. Hopefully we shouldn't have any more issues with that. Yeah, so there, and also I'm going to be keeping an eye out in my chat for random things that the bots should be saying every several minutes or whatever, just to kind of keep things moving along in the chat, that sort of thing. So things are going to be quite a bit different this time than they were last time, and I think it's all for the best. So what kind of questions, what kind of things do you guys have on your mind? What are you up to today? Let me know in the chat down below. Is the audio crackly? I was afraid that might happen. I really, really was. You know what? Since I'm not going to be moving up and around as much, I can fix that. I can. And what I'm going to do is switch this over to there. Hopefully that will make the audio a little bit better. Starkey, can you confirm for me that that is any better at all? Yeah, Jack, that's hopefully things are a little bit better now. I switched from my wireless lav over to my Audio Technica AT2020. Okay, Kevin is saying that is much better, so that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Jack, thank you. David, thank you. Appreciate it. Chat is all over the place over here. So let's talk to David here for a minute. He says, I'm new to Docker. I want to play with Nginx Proxy Manager. Following the tutorial, for testing, do you recommend using a VM on your Windows box or as a native? Okay, so that's actually a good question. You can do it either way. If you're just going to use it for home use, I don't know if you're planning on getting into, learning this stuff maybe for professional reasons or to advance your career in any way, that sort of thing. The reality is, I would encourage you to set up a VM and learn it natively in Linux first, and then kind of move on from there and try new things. Once you've got it figured out in Linux, more often than not, you're going to have a Linux environment to do these kinds of things in, with regards to Docker and that sort of thing. And it's easier, in my opinion, it's easier to learn how to do these things in Linux and get familiar with the command line, that sort of thing, rather than trying to figure out how to integrate Windows Docker into a virtualized or a natively virtualized. It's a weird thing where you can actually install Ubuntu into Windows and then attach Docker to that, it gets kind of hairy in that connection portion of things. There's a WSL thing you have to do, which I still don't fully understand. So I would set up a virtual machine, throw your favorite flavor of Linux on there. I'm a big fan of Debian, so I always install like OpenMedia Vault or Ubuntu, whatever you like there. Throw that on your VM. Install Docker. Hype Riot is another good one. Hype Riot is a very low resource using development of a Debian install. It actually comes with Docker pre-installed, but I would encourage you to go through and actually learn how to install Docker and install those kinds of different things. But Hype Riot is a very cool Linux distro that I have actually used on a few occasions. Wow, that just kind of came out of nowhere. Okay, so the bots are working. I did not expect them to go quite that manic. So I apologize for that. Those are just going to kind of come through. Those are just going to kind of come through as they come through. I don't want to, excuse me, I don't want to mess with it mid live stream. But yeah, so let's see. So if hopefully that helps answer your question there, David. Of course, if you've got other questions or need further instruction, always happy to help with that. Let's see. Oops, I just had my notes up. So last week, let me switch to that. One of these days, I got to get a Stream Deck. I think somebody's gonna give me one, but I'm cheap and I'm lazy, so I still got to do everything kind of manually over here. Oh, okay. So I guess, okay. I need to spread those out more. So let's see. Last week we talked a little bit about Pi-hole on Docker, but then installing Unbound on that. There have been a couple of requests for redundancy. The thing about redundancy is that usually involves some sort of Kubernetes or Rancher setup for that. And the reality is, I don't have any experience with that, or not enough to try to speak on it well. I know the gist of it, but as far as that's concerned, I would definitely. I think I even mentioned Technotem is a great resource for Kubernetes and that sort of thing. Let's see. Oh, that's a cool one that I want to take a look at some point. Let's see. We've got Jitsi, Borg, and Restic. I've looked into a little bit. Restic, I don't think has been updated in a while. I need to throw up a pfSense VM, and I looked at Tailscale, but didn't get too involved in that one. So I tell you what, let's take a look at an AdGuard sync here. Is anybody interested in kind of seeing how I go through my setup process and troubleshooting and that sort of thing? Let me know if you'd be interested in that. Let's see what we've got going on over here. Okay, so they were born in this like red. Yeah, I've thought about it. I've actually got. Oh, I don't know where it went. Oh, there it is. I actually used to have one set up on an old Samsung Galaxy S4, and it worked pretty well. But then I did one live stream and forgot about it, and it was kind of it was a bit to set up that sort of thing. So holy cow, those bots, I really do need to tone those down. I apologize for the bots taking over. Again, I'm still trying to figure some of this stuff out, that sort of thing. So let's see stacks. All right, so there's that. Let's who is it? Linux server. Let's take a look at this over here. That's actually not what I wanted. Looks like they've got some good stuff in here still, of course. I always love to take a look at what Linux server has done recently with their different containers. MySQL Workbench. Wow. Okay, so it's been there. What's Darktable? Maybe we'll just investigate some stuff while we're at it. Open source photography workflow application and raw developer. Interesting. That's the Nextcloud is an upload only option. So you want people to be able to basically you want a Nextcloud instance to be able to read and write but not delete. I think you'd have to set up a special user for that and log in as that user. That's the only way I can think of doing that without really causing some headaches. So let's see. It was here. I swear it was here. I'm just going to start at the top and work my way back down because I like to do things backwards. Snapdrop, health checks, paper merge, Docker compose. Interesting. I saw it. I know I saw it. God, that was only 3 days ago, though, so who knows? Starkey, what do you mean? Terminator theme? Can you elaborate on that for me? Home, Deluge, Sync Lounge, 8. There it is. There it is. All right. So what I want to do, so basically the idea is that what I want to look at here is AdGuard Home Sync. Just because I've got 2 different AdGuard setups on my network, as you should always have a backup in case one goes down. That way your network doesn't, or your internet access doesn't go down. But basically the idea is that when you've got 2 different AdGuard or 2 different Pi-hole or whatever set up, you've got to go in and manually configure each one and hopefully remember all your settings from one to transfer to the other. I haven't tested this yet, but AdGuard Home Sync is, the idea should be that you can kind of go in here and have it just set up your settings in one place and have it distribute everywhere it needs to go. Let's see, you're looking for a backup strategy for OMV. Yeah, no, you're right. Duplicati is not a good option for an OS drive when we're talking about backups and that sort of thing. It's good for backing up your data and that sort of thing, but it's not ideal for your OS drive just because of the way it works. So you're relying on Clonezilla right now, but looking for an option where I don't have to. Interesting. I wasn't aware that Clonezilla would make you do that. Yeah, I'll add OS backups. So I've added OS backups there, just so we've got an idea, or so I can keep an eye on that for later. But anyway, let's take a look at this. The idea, like I said before, is that we want to be able to just go into one location and have all of our AdGuard stuff sync up, so we don't have to manipulate it in multiple areas here. So what I want to do, oops, that's not right. 998 100 Denver. I don't have that, so oops, I'm just going to take that out. And then I'm going to do this just because I'm going to be lazy. srv/configs/AdGuard sync, like so. And then, oops, I'm just going to do that. That should be fine. I don't think I've got anything else running on 8080. Yesterday I was, oh, that's something else entirely. I'm going to go ahead and, oh yeah, that's not going to work. I'm going to go ahead and stop all of those. Hopefully, oh, that one was already stopped. But I was taking a look at a new a possible alternative to Athelia called Authentic. I chatted with the developer in Reddit just very, very briefly. And so yeah, I was taking a look at that. I got it installed and everything. I just haven't had a chance to configure it yet. And that was going to conflict with the port that I need here because I'm too lazy to change it. So we'll click on deploy the stack, and hopefully this will deploy here quickly, and I'll be able to jump in there and see what AdGuard Home Sync does, how it actually works, that sort of thing. That actually went pretty quickly. Let's jump over to here. Oh, holy cow! So it wanted some usernames and passwords. Thank you. Wow, let's see. Admin? Nope. External, where did it go? Hey, Big B Rich, thanks for joining. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well today. What the heck? Well, maybe I won't mess with this morning. Snippets, Docker Compose, CLI, custom config. But I turned that off. That is so weird. It's very weird that they did it that way. Huh. Nope. It can't really be that, can it? Where did it go? Yeah, I didn't think so. All right, let's see. Big B Rich says Unraid versus OMV versus another Linux distro for your media server with Docker integration. Pros and cons in each. Why would you pick one? Okay, so that kind of depends on what you want to do with it. I think more than anything. So, like for instance, I currently used. Sorry, I should take this off. It's itching me. So I use a couple of different setups. Like currently, what we're looking at up on my screen here, this is Open Media Vault, just because it's easy to run and it's just kind of a thoughtless process for me, because I've been using it for almost a year and a half now. Whereas I haven't touched Unraid, I don't know anything about it. If you wanted to do something like if you wanted to set up a media server, for instance, I actually set up a completely different server for that because I've got an NVIDIA GPU that I've in my system, and I got tired of fighting with Linux drivers to get hardware encoding to work on my NVIDIA GPU. So I just set up a Windows 10 box and put MB on there. You can do the same thing with Plex or whatever, but it was just easier to install the Windows drivers or the NVIDIA drivers on Windows and make sure everything was working that way. Again, that was just a shortcoming, and as far as my knowledge is concerned, there are so many tutorials out there. Everybody's got their own special way to install drivers for graphics cards that it's hard to find one solid solution that seems to work across the board. So I got lazy and just installed Windows. But like I said, here I'm using Open Media Vault for my testing, for my demos, for my tutorials, that sort of thing. My home server that does basically everything else, that handles literally everything else. This is a Synology with Docker and Portainer installed on it. It's a beast of a machine, but it did have its own shortcomings when it came to streaming and that sort of thing. It just, for whatever reason, I could not get the Xeon processor in there to actually do anything. Oh, my face is hidden there. That's fine. You don't need to look at me anyway. So the issue that I had here was that the Xeon processor just couldn't keep up with transcoding H.265 media, and so that's why I've got all of my, I've got all my movies and TV shows and that sort of thing set up here, and then over on my Windows 10 server. I say server, it's not a server. I've got MB installed there with all the Windows drivers, that sort of thing. So let's see. Appreciate videos. I'm glad they help. Like I really do. I do enjoy making content and contributing to the community to help people out there learn how to do this stuff. Whether it's you're just wanting to, let me do this. Whether it's you're just wanting to, host your own media server, or you're trying to get away from, like the big companies as far as hosting your data, that sort of thing. I'm glad I can help across the board with a lot of that different stuff. There's so much out there to learn. And the reality is I do this kind of as a two-part thing. One, because I like to contribute to the community, but two, that way I feel like if I can teach it, I've taught myself well enough to where I'm comfortable with it. So it's kind of it's for both of us, right? It's for me and it's for the community to make sure that the information is out there and available to whoever needs it whenever they happen to need it. So yeah, that's why I enjoy doing it. Let's see, currently using Ubuntu and love working with Linux. Want to explore options and make sure I consider all the possible. And that's just it. That's the very cool thing about Linux it's your other options. You've got Windows and you've got Mac, and those are just kind of the two standards. But when you go over to the Linux side of things, there's a million different distros out there that I'll do something a little bit different. That I really do enjoy. One of my favorite Linux distros is actually Pop OS. I believe it's also a Debian-based distro, but it's definitely more of a desktop operating system put together by a company up in Denver called System 76. Let's see. Open VPN for Pi-hole blocking on the go. Install a Docker. So I've actually thought about doing something like that. Here's the thing, though. Nope, is that like AdGuard has actually has something like that already available if you wanted to use it. AdGuard known DNS. So if you come over to here, in fact, I'll link this in the description. Like they've actually got a full list of known DNS providers, and they actually go through this whole process of here's like AdGuard DNS, and you can use these IPs for your DNS and have that protection on the go. If you wanted to not put up a separate device or a separate VM or whatever. So they've got just a standard, they've got family protection, they've got something that doesn't really filter much, they've got Yandex, and again, broken down by different levels of filtering, all kinds of different stuff in here. So I'll actually put this over here like so. Looks like AdGuard allows you to use anything the first time you log. Yeah, so when you first set up AdGuard, you get you'll set up an admin account and you can kind of create it from there, and then continue to log in with that. So let's see. I was led to believe that I had overlooked something here about some passwords, parameters. Oops, let's just do this. That's passwords, or not passwords, identifiers, application support, compose, building locally. No, where did I miss it? I think I know what it was that I had missed. Maybe I should have done that, but that's all right. There's user and group identifiers, and then there was this. Yeah, if I were to set this up, I would be able to set up a password for that, but maybe it just did it all automatically. So let me do this. Let me jump over to Putty because I like Putty, and I don't remember what. I don't remember CMD. And then I'm gonna bring this up to here, and we're gonna do ping. Oops, IT mouse. So it is .40. Okay, 192.168.1.40. Yes, I'll get logged in here, like so, and like that, and I'll just do csrv configs ls nano, and I just want to take a look. Origin, okay, so that's the first one. I gotcha. So it looks like, so it would be username and password probably. So let's see if I can find, nope. So username. Interesting. Okay, so I guess this doesn't really have a dashboard. Everything would just be done in here. Okay, this gives me an idea of how that works, I guess. Port 8080, yep, username and password. That's what I just typed in there. So one of these would be set up as the origin, and then these other two would be replicas. If I had multiples set up, that's the way I would go through that. So that makes sense now. Currently using MacroDroid to connect to my VPN. Okay, so that's cool. I'm glad you got that set up. Nope, that's good. I had a VPN set up for a while that I was using, but the reality is, since COVID happened, I've barely left the house, and I've left the house even less with regards to actually needing to connect to home. I am planning a trip here in a couple of months where I'll be gone for a week or so, and at that point, I will definitely have remote access set up so I can jump in and grab things as I need to. But just for right now, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have a VPN set up. Again, we're not under official lockdown, but we don't go anywhere at this point. So yeah, just not a lot of need for me to do that at this point. So yeah, let's see. Where did my notes go? I keep closing my notes. Why do I keep doing that? Do AdGuard sync. All right. Okay. So, that's, you know what, there was some fun stuff that I was seeing here, I think. Just to see if there's anything else maybe we want to take a look at some point. I don't know what that is. Scrutiny we've looked at. We've looked at some of these. I don't. Um, It's the name of the 3D. I'm guessing you're asking about this 3D printer back here. No brain. This is a Lotmax SC10 Shark. I did a video on it. The video wasn't great. I'm not sorry. I'm not a super experienced 3D printer, so my review was kind of from a very basic entry level position on that. And it's a great printer. Like, I've used it quite a bit. I've got a ton of 3D prints over here that I've done, but I just haven't touched it in a while. I should do something different with it. But yeah, no, that's a Lotmax SC10 Shark. You can pick them up on Amazon for like $400. So not a bad price. There's also the cool thing about this one is that it's actually got, you can see the two tubes here. It actually came with a dual head extrusion. So dual extrusion head. There we go. So the idea is that you can have two of these spools in different colors and print two colors basically at the same time if you wanted to do that. It's also got an auto leveler attachment that it came with. You've got to have it pretty much level to start with, or your prints aren't going to stick. But this kind of does some fine tuning in the background. And then it's also got a laser engraver attachment you can get for like another $50. So I just thought that would be kind of a cool way to do that. So, Julio, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Recommendations for a self-hosted replacement for OneNote. I'm a big fan of Bookstack. As far as note-keeping applications, you can set up individual books, diaries, whatever, and keep notes in those. It's not a true one-to-one replacement for OneNote. I think, let's see. Let's jump back over to here. Let's go up to there. I will say OneNote Docker. Oops, that's Docker. OneNote Docker. So let's see. Let's see. Now that's helpful. Ugh. Oops, that's not the one I meant. OneNote versus Docker. Paperwork, maybe. Looks like maybe that's a good alternative. Let's see what this has to say. Yeah, I mean, there's also that, I suppose. I know there are note-keeping applications in Nextcloud or OwnCloud, OneCloud, whatever. So maybe paperwork. Let's see if they've done anything with this. Not in a while. Okay, so you definitely don't want to touch on that one. But let's see. Self-hosted note application. If I ever used Hydra 2, I feel like I have heard that name before. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it looks like Bookstack is recommended here too. I've done a video on Bookstack, so I would definitely check that out and see if maybe that's going to fix or be what you're looking for. Okay, that's why. That's why I've never done anything with it. Is I've never done anything with NZB or any of those types of services. I haven't touched them in a long time. And I've never touched them in Docker. So that's why I've heard of it, but I've never done anything with it. Oh, Julio, you're good, man. Don't even stress it. You're good to go. Let's see. Let's close that and that. Let's tell you what. Let's go see what they've done most recently, just out of sheer curiosity here. Looks like there was recently an update to Jellyfin. Man, you all right back there? All right. So let's pop those three open and take a look and see what we've got here. Okay. So what is this? Internet relay. So it's an IRC server. Huh. All right. I guess I should have seen that in the name. Not really into IRC, but let's keep looking. What is this? Oh, this is for voice control for Kodi. Don't use Kodi. And Overseer. What is Overseer? Free open source software application for managing requests. Oh, yeah, this, okay, I've actually taken a look at this. It's actually kind of neat. But I think it's only for Plex. And I don't use Plex anymore just because I don't like that they've got you have to authenticate through their servers. Their authentication servers were down for like a week a couple of years ago, and I couldn't deal with it. So from that point, I switched over to Emby. I pay the same server or the same monthly fee, but I don't mind paying the fee because it goes to the developers. So and it's like $5 a month. So all right, let's see what we've got. We've looked at those. Heimdall we've looked at. That's going to be an SSH server, I think. Oh, all right. That's kind of cool. That's kind of a little security thing. So it slowly sends an endless random SSH banner. It keeps SSH clients locked up for hours or even days at a time. The purpose is to put your real SSH server on another port and then let the script kiddies get stuck in the tar pit instead of bother. That's clever. We may have to do a video on that. That looks like it'll be lots of fun. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to my Docker project ideas folder. JW, thanks for joining us. Do appreciate it. Happy to see you here. Let's see what else we've got. Snapshot, Calibre Web, Quassel Core. Let's see, what is Quassel Core? Another, it's an IRC client. MB, MStream is music, SitGear, Lazy Librarian, Qubit Torrent, Smoke Ping. A lot of these we have touched on already. Actually, you know what? Since we were just talking about it, let's jump over to here. Containers. All right, so let's jump over here. We'll take a look at my Speedtest Tracker here. Here you can see this has been for the last 7 days. Let's knock that down to like 2. This is running, I think, every 30 minutes or something. I'd actually have to go over here, and I can just let you see. Oh, this is running every 5 minutes. I should switch that to like every 30. So this is basically a run every minute, every hour, every day of every week of every month, or something like that. Like I said, cron tab. This is actually a great way to do that. And basically you just copy and paste those in from there. Make sure that you've got a space in between each of your stars, or each of your values. Like that star /30 counts as one value. and then you've got a space and a star and a space and a star and a space and a star and a space and a star. And that will run every 30 minutes. And then, yeah, like Nope had said, sometimes you do have to put in a very specific server if you want it to, if you're having an issue with whatever it's doing presently. So that should, hopefully that helps. Let's come back up to here. Let's take a look at all tests. Looks like we had an outage about 10 minutes. Oh, I'm glad that happened right when it did. It was 10 minutes before we went live here. And you can see we're using about 5 to 10 megs of upload in order to get the stream going. So not too bad there. So that all looks good. Let's come back over to here, and then of course let's just take that back down to 1 day. Yeah, that all looks good. Let's see. So that's all that. What was this? What is that one? Oh, that's for AirPlay devices. I think I'm on the wrong one again. Home Assistant. I actually need to take another look at Home Assistant. The first video I did on this didn't have. It was missing something important to make it run, but it looks like this will run on desktop or ARM processors. So I may actually give that one another look just to see if I have better results with it this time. Netbox. We've never talked about Netbox. What is that? Address the needs of network and infrastructure engineers as a domain-specific resource. Interesting. Might have to take. Holy cow! Might have to take a look at that. Wow, they require all kinds of stuff there. All right. Next, Booksonic, Duplicati. We've talked about. Ubiquity. I think we've talked about. Do Snapdrop. What is Snapdrop? That might be fun to take a look at. The file sharing in your browsers. Oh, okay. Inspired by Apple's AirDrop. You know, one thing I wish they would do is actually set up a like a demo of each of these so you could look at them. Maybe they've got one. I don't know. No, maybe. Let's take a look over here. Nope, of course that brings us over to here. We'll get there eventually. Open Snapdrop on other devices to send files. Okay, interesting. Interested in testing out Proxmox. Could I do a video? I could. It's definitely something I need to look at. I have installed it in the past, and I've done a little bit of testing with it, and kind of got an idea of how it works. But it's definitely something I'll see about adding to the list. Bring this up. Proxmox. I definitely need to do that for some virtualization style stuff. Also, I think we might, sorry, I forgot. I might actually also be dual live streaming over on Facebook, but maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. Nope. Okay, maybe not. I wasn't sure if I had that set up right or not. So let's see. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at Proxmox. I've got that added to the list of things to take a look at. Let's see, health checks. This isn't the one I was thinking of. Oh, that's just a watchdog for cron jobs. WebGraph Plus we've talked about. Totally we've talked about. Wiki.js. Wiki.js might also be another note-keeping application that you might want to take a look at. I've done a video on that one as well if you want to take a look and see maybe if that one will fit your needs. Mindtest is just a Minecraft server, kind of a generic one. NZB Get we've talked about a little bit, but I haven't done anything with that sort of thing. You know, when I very first started getting into file-based web platform. Oh, okay, I know what that is. So I took a look at Cockpit initially when I first started getting into self-hosting and that sort of thing. Let me actually jump over to here. Oops, I didn't get logged in. And we'll go to extras and we'll go to cockpit, not installed, right? Install. Oops, that's not going to work because it's on, looks like it's on the same ports. So let's just see what happens. It may have a fit because I've already got Portainer installed there. Let's see. So it's going through the unpack process here. This all looks good so far, but of course it's not going to be until it gets to the very end when it will have its fit, if it's going to have a fit. Setting up. Man, lots of stuff to set up. You know, I actually agree, Starkey. That's something that's always kind of bugged me about coming over here and seeing this. The thing is, they could. It's Linux server puts as very little information in here, and I wish there was more in here. It just says a headphones container brought to you by Linux Server IO. Wonderful. What is headphones? Like, is it a music server? Is it a music? Like, what kind of a music application is it even a music application? Yeah, see this music downloader for NZB and torrent. So it's like they could have put that right over there in this headphones area here. Oh, so yeah. So the thing about that, um, yours should look like this. Open Media Vault itself doesn't look terribly different. Shouldn't ever look terribly different. Now, if we're talking about Portainer, it will look different. I don't know if you can even see it, but right down here, you can see that I'm using Business Edition of Portainer. When I was working with Portainer, I'm not anymore. I worked with them for about a month, and it didn't work for me. It just wasn't a good fit. They're great people. I love their product. Still use it all the time, but unfortunately, it wasn't a good fit as far as what I was looking to do. So I'm not doing that anymore. But they gave me access to Portainer Business, so that's why. Um, my Portainer may look a little different than yours. So let's come back over to here. Open cockpit. So we're just going to take a look at this. I have no idea what this is going to do. It's been like a year and a half. So let's see if we can get logged in with that. See what happens here. Okay. I'm not sure what it's gonna do here. Oops, oops. Let's jump back over here. What did that say? Permission denied. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that a little bit and see. I wonder, it shouldn't be. God, I hope it's not this. Oh, it was. Oh, that kills me. That just kills me. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that. Now I lost access to that. So, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to take a look. So it looks like this is setting up virtual machines, maybe. Yeah, gotcha, K-Slim. Thanks. So I got in, just not, man, it's being super slow. It's not letting me do a whole lot. Security updates available. It just did that. I don't know why it's doing it again. Right, Starkey, that spinning ball of I wonder if it's gonna work. Just always makes you wonder what's coming next. Um, let's see. So here's the thing, right? Like this, I would expect this kind of behavior on like a Raspberry Pi device. But yeah, so it looks like there's a lot of security updates that need to be installed. That are some of them are severity, some of them are very, very critical, some of them not so much, some of them are just bugs, that sort of thing. Like I would expect that slow behavior on a Raspberry Pi, but this is not a Raspberry Pi. This is I mean, it's not a super high powered machine, but it's it's an Intel. I mean, it's a Celeron 4-core, 4-thread, 4 gigs of RAM, and 32 gigs of storage. Not that the storage matters, but it is eMMC storage, so that should be faster. So yeah, I'm not sure why. There we go. Okay, so it looks like with this you can create virtual machines. So that's kind of cool. I was actually unaware of this. This might actually be a cool video to make. So yeah, thanks for kind of pointing me in this direction, K-Slim. I do appreciate it. I will take a look at making a video about this. I think this will be a very cool idea. Let's just create a VM and see what happens. Local install media. So you would have to have ISOs uploaded somewhere. And I don't know, you'd have to mount a folder somewhere and make that available. So it looks like you've got all kinds of different options. If I wanted to do that, you can set storage sizes, how much memory you want to give. So it looks like it automatically gives you 1 gig less than your available or your total memory. So that should actually be, let's do that, remote URL. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely going to make a video about that. I dig that. That's a cool idea. I like the idea of being able to have virtual machines set up like that. So, this is cockpit. I couldn't think what it was called. Having a moment. Okay, so I've got that added to the list. That one will be good, I think, to make a video about. I dig that quite a bit. Let's see, what else do we have this morning? That's all fine. Oops. Really? Man. Jump over here real quick. All right, not what I was looking for. There's the one I was looking for. Oops, let's drag that back up. Man, there we go. Okay, so we've looked at Duplicati, we've looked at Ubiquiti, Lychee, Photoshop, Snapdrop. We just looked at Health Checks. Paper Merge is a document management system, I believe. Pretty sure I've made a video on that one. Yeah. So we've got that. WebGrab we've looked at. Tautoli, Wiki.js. Okay, we've already looked at all of this. OS Cam. Let's see, what is this one? Open source conditional access module for descrambling smart cards. Interesting. All right, so we're going to skip that one. That one is very, very niche. Let's see. I've used CrashPlan before. They turn into a paid service. I have not used CrashPlan. I need to find something off-site, whether it's Backblaze or whatever. The thing that I got to figure out is something that I can install on Linux, whether it's through Docker or whatever. And I looked through it for a while. I looked at CrashPlan. I looked at Backblaze. I didn't find a lot of good information anyway as far as how to install them on Linux, but I wasn't being too serious about it to start with. So that's definitely something I'd like to do as well, is get an offsite backup set up and ready to go. My only concern, honestly, is that my ISP would have a conniption fit. If I come over to here, you can see that I mean, it's not a ton. I know there are people out there with way more, but currently I'm using just a little over 5.5 terabytes of hard drive space, and having something like CrashPlan or Backblaze or something like that set up, depending on how fast this were to do its thing, I feel like Comcast would absolutely have a fit of me backing up 6 terabytes. So I need to set up something more local for this stuff and then deal with other stuff in some other way, and I just haven't gotten that far to decide how I want to handle that. Swag is on my list of things to look at. I was told the perk to this one is that it's got fail to ban built in, so I needed to take another look at that. Project Send we've looked at. Mods. There's mods. Mods doesn't say anything there. Store user consumable modification layer. Library. Okay, this is nope. I don't want to deal with that. Here, the emails popped up saying they were getting rid of their home version. Oh, yeah, that sucks, man. I hope they figure out or gave you enough time to get all of that data back. That's a lot of data to have to recover and deal with. So hopefully they got that figured out. Um, let's see. I know like recently, LastPass decided that they were going to switch up their free plan to be only one device, whether it's your phone or your tablet or your computer or whatever, and that I guess if you're going to do it during a pandemic when people aren't going anywhere, is the time to do it. But it was still kind of a dick move, in my opinion, to only make it available on one device rather. So that's was why I'm really glad that I'm hosting Bitwarden locally. It's been great since I've been using it. Haven't had any issues with it at all. Of course, I say that and something will happen, um, but yeah, no, that sucks. Um, what I need to do is set up a second small server and find somebody that I trust who I can set up a server at their house and basically do my own co-location for that sort of thing. But I just don't have anybody in the area that I want to work with as far as that's concerned. Um, Sync Lounge. Oops. Allows you to watch Plex with your friends and family. Okay, that's kind of cool, but I don't use Plex. Where did it go? It's always doing this to me. Open VPN AS. I've actually looked at that one. I think I made a video about that one. The worked pretty well. Deluge. I've taken a look at. That's a downloading program. Um, yeah, I definitely take a look at it. Nope. If it's super easy to set up. It's easy to use. It integrates right into your browser. Like I've got it integrated up here with Chrome. I've got it on my phone. My wife's got it on her computer and her phone, and it just makes things super super easy. Uh, and you've got to set up. Like, you actually need to go in and set up some things as far as like how often it'll synchronize, that sort of thing. Otherwise, you've got to do manual synchronization, and it sucks if you've done something on one device and didn't sync it before. Let's say you had to go somewhere and then you don't have access to that. Um, uh, well, I'm glad you were able to get your all your data at least recovered and back in your hands. That's always nerve wracking. Pixapop application to view photos. I think I've looked at that one. Do disk over Clarkson requester. What is requester? I think this is another video or media request service. Yeah. Um, that one's kind of neat. I'm just super apprehensive to do videos like this now because I recently got hit with a copyright strike and a community guidelines strike for putting up videos on how to download media. So those will stick on my account for the next couple of months, and it's disheartening to look into my um, it's just disheartening to look at my dashboard and see those two strikes every time I log in. It just sucks. Which I know it's supposed to be demoralizing, so you don't do that again. It's like being grounded as a kid. Um, the lounge. I think I've looked at that. It's been a while though. It's fork of it's an IRC client. Okay. Wireshark. I've taken a look at. That's how you can set up your own VPN with that, as opposed to using OpenVPN. And I guess Wireshark is the new protocol that's faster and more lightweight, that sort of thing. Um, do remote desktop client. I really should look at that one too at some point. Guac. I need to take another look at. HA Bridge. I need to take a look at. Um, Noria. I don't know what Limnoria is. Another IRC thing. I actually used to have this idea that I was going to be super clever and have a password that I could remember, and it was going to be a different password for every site. But then I realized, like, if I was going to do something, it was going to be um, basically it was going to be all in elite speak, so it would have been like F-A-C-E, F-A-C-E-B-O-O, and then like K, and then like 2021, for instance, it was going to be something like that, but then it was going to be like the same thing. Oops, and then 3R. But then I realized, oh yeah, if somebody ever figures that out, I'm done for. So that's why I started using a password manager. That all of my passwords are just, if I click on like generator, they're just all crazy long passwords with just characters and numbers. Like you could put a gun to my head and I would no idea what any of my passwords were. So that's that's why I use a password manager, just so I don't have to try to remember anything. It's just easier that way, or better that way for me, I think. Let's see, Nextcloud. We've talked about Duck DNS. I did a video. I wish I'd never done a video on Duck DNS. I still have people asking me Duck DNS questions, and I discourage anyone from using Duck DNS because of its lack of security. If you're going to use a third-party DNS manager, I highly encourage you to use Cloudflare, because it actually hides your IP address, whereas Duck DNS does not hide your IP address. So I always encourage people to use Cloudflare just for that. They also issue SSLs. Yeah, what's funny about that, Starkey, is it's one of three things, but I don't remember which one, so I always have to try all three of them to figure out which one it is, and then I forget again. So luckily, I think I've got 3 or 4 tries before the system locks me out. So yeah, like I honestly have, like I said, I know it's one of three things to get into my password manager, but beyond that, I couldn't tell you. Digital payment protocol. No, we don't want to do that. Mylar. I wish they said, what is Mylar right there, so I didn't have to open it. It's a comic book downloader. But see, this is what happens. I'll start doing all this investigation and I end up with like 40 tabs open. And when you start looking at, like multiple windows and that sort of thing, I've always got too much going on here. Organizer, we've talked about. Actually did a whole video about that one. I don't know what Cardigan is. Let's take a look at Cardigan. They're not. Oh, it's for adding extra indexers to downloading platforms. Okay. Oh, right. No, it's fair. No, you're absolutely right. You did say that. Let's see. Whoa. Last updated 2 years ago. Am I really that far back? Holy cow. Yeah, that's why they haven't touched these in years, and we're not even gonna bother with those because it's been. That doesn't seem right. That just doesn't seem right at all. Really? 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, 2 years ago. So this is all stuff they haven't touched in forever. Interesting. Unifi, they've updated that. They're doing something different with that. Yeah, I agree, Starkey. I really do. Be great for taking comic books on a tablet on the go, that sort of thing. Again, I'm super apprehensive about making making any more content about downloading things. If I were to do it, I would have to go over. I'd have to use a different service. I wouldn't be able to put it on YouTube, because they'll hit me with another community guideline strike or a copyright strike, and then I risk losing my channel. And I actually use my YouTube money to pay bills and that sort of thing. So I can't afford to lose my channel at this point, unfortunately. I know I've got patrons and things like that who help out quite a bit, but unfortunately that isn't my patron account just doesn't quite meet up with my YouTube account. There may come a point at which it does, and it might make sense for me to do something like that. But unfortunately, just for now, I can't run the risk of doing that sort of thing. Let's just close all of those. Let's see. Self-hosted applications. Network stuff. The other one going stuff is media server. Did I hear Synology? I didn't. I'm not necessarily saying no to Kodi. I would just. I haven't used it. Like I think I used it for a while back in the day. Then I discovered Plex, and then I never looked back. And then of course Plex had their issue a couple of years ago, and I lost interest in Plex because they couldn't keep their authentication servers up for a while. And so then I switched to MB. I've looked at other services as well. Um, so yeah, no, I'm not saying no to Kodi. Something to keep in mind. Uh, in fact, Kodi might be the way to go now that I think about it, because I think Kodi has H.265 transcoding enabled in it, whereas Plex and MB and Jellyfin do not at this point. So Kodi might actually be a good way to handle that if you're going to use Raspberry Pi 4. Hopefully you're using a Raspberry Pi 4, at least a 4 gig. Otherwise you're gonna throttle in quite a bit if you use a 2 gig. So that would definitely be something to keep in mind. But I believe that Kodi has H.265 encoding built into it. Hopefully I'm not misleading you on that. First time I read manga, it confused me on reading. Yeah, I've seen some comic books like that that are imports and things like that, where you start at the back and work your way forward, and that's just how some of those places work. Um, yeah, basically, John, it is just as simple as doing that. I showed how to do it actually in my duplicati videos. So basically, what you want to do is, with your existing server, you want to back up whatever containers that you've got, and then you'll jump over to your new server and actually set up those applications. Just set them up as just fresh new installs, and then copy all of your data over, like your old data. Just copy that over and replace your new data with your old data. And it should work. That's basically the idea of how duplicati works, and that's how I showed it in my videos. If you want to take a look at that. Yeah, I've actually looked at ExpressVPN a little bit. They use tokens, I think, instead of like a username and password, which I think is interesting. I feel like I haven't looked into it enough, but just on a high level, I feel like just having an access token, unless you're setting up a new access token for each device you want to use. Again, I haven't looked at their back end, but I just feel like having a single access token would be too easy to compromise. For what you do, just recently got into Raspberry Pi during the current world situation. Hey, John from Oregon. Um, Glad to have you here. I need to do some more Raspberry Pi content. I did quite a bit. I say that. Let me see actually how many videos are on that playlist. Do Raspberry Pi home server. Let's see if this says 19 videos. If there are specific videos that you guys would like to see on a Raspberry Pi, that would be cool. I'm definitely up for doing more Raspberry Pi 4 home server videos. If you got specific things you'd like to see on a Raspberry Pi, the problem is that often um, the images the developers make for Docker don't always they're not always compatible with ARM processors. Um, when I was setting up OpenVPN on AWS, it's free. Interesting, Apator. I would be same token. Wow, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Um, that's interesting. Setting up OpenVPN on AWS. All right, I will definitely take a look at that. I'll add that to the list of things to investigate. Let's bring this up here and paste. Nope, that's not what I wanted. That's the wrong one. That was other notes. Um, nope, darn it. That doesn't go there. That goes there. This one up to, oops, there, like that. Okay, let's see. Let's get caught back up here. Same token across all devices. See, that seems sketchy. As far as one token across all devices, I don't like the idea behind that. That seems too easy to compromise. Um, let's say I use my phone number when I need to log into accounts. Authy. So I use Authy as well. I would be cautious about using your phone number. It's Unfortunately, it's too easy for people to have your phone number, your text messages, whatever, directed to a new device. It happens pretty regularly, unfortunately. So I use Authy. I also use, of course, I don't think I've got my keys over here. Somewhere, I've got. Credit card, but it's free. Okay. I'll have to take a look at that, Empetor. I like the idea there. Yeah, so I either use Authy and or I've got a YubiKey that I use so that I actually have to have it physically in my hand, plugged in, that sort of thing. That's the security that I use. I've actually got two of those YubiKeys. So having a hardware device is probably the best way to do it. YubiKey's been very reliable for me. Sorry, I got the sneeze that's trying to come on here. Anyway, so I definitely recommend doing that. Yep, and it does. The app randomizes the key every 30. Yep, so that's exactly right, Starkey. And somehow it runs synchronization in the background to keep the codes synced with the application you're going to log into. It's very cool technology. But yeah, so let's see. Roy asks, do you use a separate firewall like OpenSense or just NPM? So I do. I actually do a few different things. I use Cloudflare that acts as a DNS or that handles all of my DNS and hides my IP address. So even if you happen to find one of my domain names and you ping it, you're going to get a Cloudflare IP address, not my home IP address. So that's one level of security I've got. They've also got DDoS protection and they also look at they've got kind of a global network where all of the different servers are constantly talking to each other. And if one server notices sketchy behavior from an IP address, it notifies all of the others. So then that becomes kind of a crap IP address that has to then authenticate itself through like the "Are you a human?" type stuff. So I've got Cloudflare for that kind of for the initial part of it. I've got a Unifi security gate. I've got the USG Pro 4 that's set up with intrusion prevention set up on that. I've also got Nginx Proxy Manager, and even with all of that, I'm still apprehensive about what I make available to the general public, just because it's too much of a risk. But even I do have quite a bit in place to make me feel a little bit better about my setup. Hey, Francesco, glad to have you. Glad to see you again. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, Philip or Philippe. I'm not sure the correct pronunciation there, but thanks for joining. Keep coming up with projects. Key, insert FD, run scripts background. That would actually be pretty cool, Starkey. If you could set up a floppy disk to work that way, that would be pretty neat. I would love to see that. Is there a VPN that's available? So I love PIA. I've been using it for a long time now. Well, I say a long time. I've been using it for more than a year. In fact, I just crossed my 1 year mark. Let me see if I can get logged in here. Of course, it's going to ask me for. So now I've got to use my Authy on my phone to get logged into my PIA, just because I like to have all of that available. PIA. So let's get this typed in, like so. Let's see here. If you guys want to try out PIA, oops, I'll just put this here. And I don't get paid if you use that link. What I do get is if you complete your 30 days and sign up, I get a free month. So if you guys want to check that out, that would be cool. But that is technically an affiliate link, just so you're all aware. Is there a VPN available that will work inside of Open Media Vault? I was looking at PIA. Let's take a look. Let's go to. Oh, I can't do that now. I don't have open. I don't have access to any of that. Let me take a look. Let me tell you what. I can fix this. I can. Go to Package Manager. No, you idiot. Virtual Machine Manager. There we go. Virtual Machine. OMV. Connect. do 1.33. So do 192.168.1.133, and we'll get logged into here. This is why I love virtual machines. Whoops. Did I not change that? I did not. All right. So let's see. If we go into extras, nope. Let's VPN. It doesn't look like there's one actually natively in Open Media Vault as far as a VPN built in there, but you can actually get. I mean, you can install a VPN on your network. Your router may support it. Your modem, depending on what you've got set up. If you're using, like an ISP modem, you may have to do some port forwarding for that to work. But I think you should be able to set up a VPN on your network, whether it's through your router or through a Docker container or a Raspberry Pi or just about anything. There's lots of ways to set up VPNs there. So there's not one here, but you can set one up. Waiting on your internal USB to FD to be delivered, trying to write a script that loops, asking if there's an FD inserted. That's cool. I'd love to see that once you get that working. I have like 5 ideas running in my, do I get that? I really do. Right. You know what's funny that you guys even mentioned that is we haven't seen floppy disks in like almost 20 years, but floppy disks are still the icon that we use for saving. Like I think I saw something a while back where somebody was talking about you 3D printed the save icon, but it was actual authentic old school floppy disk. And of course, even in my brain, you're talking about the little 3.5 inch. I was going even further back, thinking about the 5.25 inch that were super super thin and even more useless in the long run because they were so susceptible to demagnetization. Yep, the good old 5-inch floppies. I'm guessing though that Starkey is using. Was it Starkey? Yeah, that's using the 3.5 inch, the little plastic ones. Let's see. Let's see what else. Oh, so there's one other thing. One thing that I do like about using Open Media Vault is that somewhere in here, thought there was fail to ban in here, but maybe that's somewhere else. Kernel. Drive A, start on the VIC-20. Yeah, so I never had a VIC-20. I had a Commodore 64 when I actually I had a Texas Instrument that I can't think of what the model number was, but it had like cartridges you plugged into the keyboard to play games and that sort of thing. And then I got a Commodore 64 after that. I started learning a little bit of programming and was actually using cassette tapes to save my programs on. So that was always fun to try to go find my programs. I've installed Nginx Proxy Manager using the tutorial. However, port 81 isn't bringing me to the dashboard. Also shows unhealthy. Well, that's if it's showing unhealthy, it won't work. You'll need to figure out why it's unhealthy. I actually think I need to update. Let's see, engine Proxy Manager. I really think I need to update my my tutorial. What I recommend. Okay, so 81. Yeah, 81 should take you there. But you'll want to look at your logs and find out. Your logs will be. You'll want to take a look at your logs and see what's going on there. If I have to edit the SQL config. So I would, honestly, man, I would just use this. Use this Docker Compose that you see here. That works. That's what I use, just like that. Field to ban as a plugin. I thought it was, but I couldn't remember. For some reason, I thought it was in here. In the plugins area, but it's not. So I'd have to find that. But you can actually install fail to ban in Open Media Vault and configure it from there, where you've got a nice little dashboard, that sort of thing. So reset permissions. So, Daniel, so that as far, oh, sorry, let me back up. Dr. Byte, thanks for joining from the Netherlands. That's very cool. Recently, I've had problems with permissions. Have to keep resetting permissions to delete and move files. Okay, so my first question, Daniel, is are you using Open Media Vault for your setup? I want to start there. Is it in services? That doesn't surprise me. So yeah, Daniel, are you using Open Media Vault? Let's start there and see. Um, Same issue. Okay. Docker log. All right. So basically, the way you would do that, come over to here. That's fine. We'll just leave that, and we'll get. Okay, good deal. So you're using that. Okay, so let me just answer David's question here. So basically, what you want to do is go find uh, your uh, your stuff in Portainer here, right here. This little paper icon. If you click that, will show all of your logs. And you can kind of take a look and see what's going on in your logs there. So let's see. Okay, so when you're so Daniel, with your permissions issues, what you want to do when you're setting up. Let me actually jump back over here. I'm just going to grab one of these. Hopefully. Okay, so if you look right here, you'll see just as a for instance, you got a PUID and a PGID. The by default with these guys is just set to 1000. That's just a default that they've got in there. But what you want to do when you're setting up your containers is you want to. Just want to exit out of there. What you want to do is type. Let's just clear the screen. You want to do ID and then space and then whatever username you use to log into your Open Media Vault. Like I use admin, so I do ID space admin and hit enter. So you're going to want to change your PUID to whatever this value is, and your PGID to whatever that value is. This 1000 is just default information. That will probably not do you any good. So you want to make sure that you change those to get the correct permissions for your users and your groups, that sort of thing, when you're building your containers this way. It's possible, John, as far as Nextcloud having done that. All right, Roy. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Good to see you. So Nextcloud may have done that. It's hard to say. I know I have seen it. I keep doing that. I know I have seen fail to ban in Open Media Vault. I just don't remember where. I was on an older version, so because I remember, yeah, it should be right in here, but it's not. So not real sure why it's not, but fail to ban is definitely one of those things that you should have on your system for security purposes. Basically, what it does is it looks at whatever logs you tell it to look at, and it looks for like failed login attempts, and then blocks them. One of the problems, though, sometimes is that the logs don't include the IP address of the failed login attempt, which kind of makes those logs useless. So it's always good to have an additional firewall in place for those kinds of things. Vlada, thanks for joining from the Czech Republic. I honestly think you're the first person I've seen from the Czech Republic in here, so very cool. Glad to have you. Let's see. So, if you got ideas for Raspberry Pi containers you'd like to see, let me know. Comments or whatever. Plug in, install. Yeah. So that's what I thought too. I keep opening that. Let's close that. So here I am. I'm in plugins. No, I'm not. Where am I? Plugins, right there. And if I type in fail, nothing happens. Like there's nothing there. So for some reason I don't have that. But I've got OMB extras. Oh, you know what? Because I don't have the extras repo installed or set up there. So let's do that. Let's click save there. Maybe that was my problem. Portainer installed. Yeah, so David, you should be able to look up your logs in Portainer the way I just showed there. Give this a second to load up there, and hopefully we'll get an idea of what's going on. Maybe I can find failed abandon there, and we can take a look at that. Czech Republic, failed abandon. Okay, nothing new. Close that, and we'll close that. Let me jump back over here just real quick. All right. Hey guys, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us. Oh, that is still saving. Now this is, well, it's a virtual machine. What the heck? Now let's come over to here. There's failed to ban. Yeah, I had to. So what I had to do was go into OMV extras and add the extras repo there. So that's how I got that to show up. I just forgot to do it before. So then you can check that box for failed to ban and click install and say yes. To do permissions or setting permissions, change owner to root. Yeah, Daniel, you want to be careful about setting permissions like that. You just got to be careful about manually setting permissions like that. It's just it's a security risk if you do it wrong. So just something to keep in mind. What are you using for virtual machines? Okay, so actually what I'm using, good question, is I'm using, this is a Synology DS1621xs Plus. You can actually see I've got several of them in here just for doing different testing and things like that. And that way, if I need a specific thing, I can spin up OMV or I can shut it down, or desktop for Ubuntu or an Ubuntu server. I've got those set up as well in case I ever need to jump in and do some testing on something. I've just got it right here. And here you can see, I always set them up with like 4 cores and 4 gigs of RAM on basically all of them. So pretty, that way they're pretty decent as far as that's concerned. Any idea why Portainer's duplicating all my published ports? No idea. Nope. I really don't have any idea why. Yeah, not sure why it's trying to duplicate your ports there. So I don't see the container listed in Portainer. That's weird. You should. Not sure why you're not seeing that, David. I do a new install and check what I did. Good. Yeah, just when you start messing with permissions, you just it just becomes a security issue. I try to just leave all my permissions default, and then make sure that I use the right user PUID and PGID so that the permissions are set by the system for that user. There are reasons you might want to set up a different user with different permissions and use that, but I've always had pretty good luck just using my default admin user for all that kind of stuff. So yeah. So anyway, thanks, Daniel. I appreciate that. Appreciate the compliment. Thank you very much. Let's see. Yeah. So let's see. What is it complaining about up here? Oh, right. So sorry, I just noticed I've got a notification here, and the problem is that there are some security issues here. That's good. Network, one network setting. Oh, yeah, because I left my SSH on port 22, but it's not available. Like I don't have port 22 available outside my network, so that's fine. What I am concerned about is this new version of DSM. It shouldn't affect me, but there has been some controversy over people running into some issues. I should actually talk about this for a minute. Let me pull something up here because if you guys are running a Synology NAS device, I do want to bring this up. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. This one, no, it's the right guy, but the wrong. Here we go. So basically, what has been happening is that on some devices, like mentioned here, DS420J, 2020J, 418J, the 218 Play, the DS118. For some reason, when the new version of DSM, the operating system that runs on Synology, if you're using BTRFS as your file system, and you're on one of these devices and you upgrade to the newest version, you lose access to your data. I don't know why. I've got a contact at Synology who is reaching out to his people in Taiwan to figure out why they did that. Because I know a lot of people use BTRFS instead of ext4. And if you're using this and update to DSM624 on these devices, you're going to lose your data, and that sucks. I think you've got to then downgrade your DSM to get access to your data so that you can move your data, to reformat your drives, to update your, like, it's a whole fiasco. I'm actually waiting to get more information directly from Synology as far as that's concerned. Hopefully we'll have that. Hopefully we'll have that figured out. Walmer, yes, it is a known issue. Um, it's it's something that I know that they're looking into. It's been brought up a few different times, in their support chat, in their support tickets, in their GitHub. It has been brought up. I know they're working on it. So definitely make sure to go through and clear out all of your old images, any images that you're not using. So basically, if we go over here to port 9000, I'll actually show you how you can do that. So here we are. We're logged into Portainer here. If you go over here to images, any of these that are unused are safe to delete. So just, you can go through there and you can delete those manually. The problem is, sometimes you'll get hundreds of them. And what happens in that case will be twofold. It'll be a pain to clear everything out. I mean, I know you can do the, just to click all. But the other thing is, if your operating system drive fills up all the way, you can't log in to Portainer in order to clear it out. So then you have to go in through SSH and do a Docker system purge all or something to go through and purge all of the stuff you're not using, whether it's containers or images or networks or whatever. It's kind of a pain when that happens. It's, like I said, though, it's a known issue that I know that they're working on. Yeah, but thank you for bringing that up, just because it is something that people need to be aware of. Definitely go in and check your images and make sure you don't have a ton of images in here that you're not using at the moment. Glad to hear that's not causing conflicts. Nope, that's good. Thanks for joining from Greece, Akis or Akis or Akis. I know I'm butchering that, and I apologize. 7:15 in the evening, not too bad. Starkey's at 5:21. See how the internet can bring people. Nope. I agree. That's one of the cool things that I really do enjoy about making these videos and having these live streams and things like that, is that I get to communicate with people all over the world. I see people helping each other from all over the world. It doesn't matter where you are, what your background is or anything. I love that we can all just kind of hang out and chat and exchange ideas and thoughts and help each other out with what we're doing here. Very, very cool in my opinion. So I want to thank you guys for being here, and actually helping me build out this community and that sort of thing. Because yes, I do it because I enjoy it, but part of it, the enjoyment that I get, is really communicating with you guys. So thank you guys for being here, that sort of thing. So let's see, John, glad I was able to answer your questions there. Logs are showing. Okay, so basically, what that's saying, David, is that it's not able to find your database. So there's, if you're using, let's do Nginx Proxy Manager. So basically, your host, whatever is right here, should be whatever your image name is. That's what you need to do there. Also, you need to make sure that your user, password, and name are all the same. So make sure that is all consistent. But yeah, your database host needs to be whatever the name of your database service is. Let's see. Yeah, the IRC. So I never really got into IRC chat. I always felt that it was too. I always felt that it was too full of too many people who thought they were elite, I guess is the best way to put it. It was kind of when I started developing or doing some development in ASP and ASP.NET. I ran into kind of the same issue of ASP developers, at least at the time, from my experience where I was. Again, this was almost 20 years ago. I guess it was 15 years ago. We're just kind of jerks. It was kind of, well, if you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. You need to figure it out. but they were telling me that in support forums, right? So it was like they wanted to be there so they could talk down to people, not so they could actually help people. And I kind of felt that IRC was very similar to that from my experience. So originally, I spent some time in AIM chat rooms for AOL Instant Messenger. After that, I jumped over to the Yahoo chat rooms, and I spent a lot of time in Yahoo chat rooms in the late '90s, early 2000s. Met some cool people. Actually got to travel around the world a little bit because of some of that. So that was fun. But now, like, the closest thing, I mean, really, if you think about it, Discord is the new AIM or the new Yahoo chat room or the new IRC. I mean, I know there's others out there, but that's kind of what Discord is at this point. Is the new version of that. Everybody's got their own theme and location, and everybody's just kind of doing the same thing we've always done, just on a new platform, which is actually kind of a cool idea that I really dig. I really dig Discord. I've met some cool people there. We've got a great group of people over in our Discord. I know the links keep popping up, so definitely check out Discord if you want to do that. MSN. I did some MSN for a while because there were people who thought they were too good for AOL or Yahoo. So I had a few MSN friends. How do you save all Docker Compose codes? Vlada, I kind of did a video on that a while back. Let me see if I can find it. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Let me do that. So you can look at my big stupid face while I'm doing some looking here. Let's do export. Yeah, there we go. This is the video. Definitely take a look at this. So that is the video I just posted. There is the way to export your Docker containers into stacks. What the heck? Minda, thanks for following. I appreciate that. Looks like that's over on Facebook. I don't even know if that's if I'm even streaming to Facebook, but maybe I am. So Nginx Proxy Manager is not a web server. It is a reverse proxy. So basically, it works. Basically, it kind of acts like a router on your network. And when incoming traffic hits Nginx Proxy Manager, it sends a request for a certain domain or a subdomain or whatever. And then from there, Nginx Proxy Manager directs that traffic to the correct server, IP address, port, all of that. It facilitates that traffic going to the right container for that sort of thing. It also acts as you can set up. It also sets up SSLs. So you've got server-side SSLs. You've also got the ability to set up access lists, so that if you want somebody to be able to access only from a certain IP address, you can do that and make them put in a username and password. If they're not part of that access list, lots of cool stuff in there. There's some stuff I wish they would do differently with it. Like, I'd like to see geo-IPs, so you can kind of see where people are trying to hit your server from. I'd also like to see login attempts made. I'd like to see that kind of thing as well. But unfortunately, I've actually reached out to the developer on that, and he said he doesn't have any interest in doing that, or any intention of doing that at any time in the near future. There are other services, like you could use Traffic and get way more reporting detail, but in my opinion, Traffic is very robust. I'm not going to knock it there. In fact, like, I have the sticker to show I'm a Traffic ambassador. But it's more complicated to set up. So you got to kind of weigh the pros and cons of what you want on your network as far as how you want to facilitate things. Can you set up Nginx on Windows? I mean, you could OTA, but you'd have to have Docker installed, whether you use Docker for Windows or you set up a virtual machine. But even then, you're setting it up on you're still setting up it on a VM either way. So you're still technically putting it on Linux. I don't think that there is a native Windows application for Nginx Proxy Manager. No, if you're just talking about Nginx, I believe you can set up just Nginx Web Server on Windows. Maybe I know Windows uses IIS. But I don't know if Nginx is an option for a web server on a Windows server. see what else we've got here. Server. Nope, I think that covers all of that. Yeah, so wow, so we've been at this for an hour and 40 minutes. Holy cow. Yeah, I always plan for these things to go for about an hour, and they always go way over. Should I create a database container separate from this compose file? No. This compose file for Nginx Proxy Manager. Let me jump back over to there. This will set up your Nginx Proxy Manager container as well as a database container. It will do everything for you, and it should connect everything automatically. This is kind of an all-in-one deal. It'll create two separate containers and just kind of do that automatically there. Do any idea how we can host a container with retro games? Yesterday. Nope, they don't need to be the same. In fact, often, and depending, like, in fact, if you even look here, this one is DB MySQL port, or DB MySQL user. This one is just MySQL user. It's going to depend on the character or on the container, what those environmental variables need to look like. So those don't necessarily need to be the same. Any idea how we can host a container with retro games, like the one in the video I posted under yesterday? I don't know if 60 plus TV. I don't know if I actually got that comment. If you commented yesterday, let me see if I can find it. 60 plus TV. Your names. I'm not sure. 60 plus TV. I've seen some of your comments, but so hold up. Nope, you're sort of wrong. If you're on Portainer version 2.1.1, version 3 is supported. If you're on Portainer Business, version 3 won't work. So yeah, go ahead 60 plus. That should be fine. You should be able to. I think I've got the bots configured so you can. MySQL root password. Yeah, the MySQL root password and the MySQL password are two separate passwords, and make sure that they're not the same just for security reasons. But yeah, if you're on Portainer version 2.1.1, you can use version 3 stacks. I don't know what to tell you, Tiger. I've been using Nginx Proxy Manager for like a year. Never had any issues with it. I'm thinking about moving it to a different device just because I've currently got it set up on a Raspberry Pi, and I feel like that could be part of the issue that this is part of the reason that my web access is a little slower than I'd like it to be. But I've never had any issues with it. So I guess you do you, man. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Nope. It should work. You may actually have to wrap your version like this, where it's actually wrapped in quotes. You may try that if you haven't already. So I would definitely give that a look. Wait, hey, Jaden, you're wanting to upgrade from version 1.38 to 5? Ooh, I don't know. I've never done that. I just always do clean installs. And that 124. Okay. I know you can. I've never done it. Oh, wait. 1v5 user. Oh, yeah. So actually I did a video on that. Let me find update for website if I can spell correctly. Container. Okay, hold on. Ooh, my voice is going. DB Tech reviews. This one. Whoops. Are you updating the newest version? Yeah, that's the one. So we'll share this. Oops. Stop. Share, copy. Okay, shut up. No one cares. So let's see. This hopefully should get you. That should let me verify that. Oops. Weird. Oh darn it. You suck. Sorry. 1 second here. There we go. That should get you the information you need on how to update your Portainer to the newest version without losing anything. On this, somewhat complicated action. So here's the thing, Jaden. Portainer is just another Docker container. That's all it is, and it communicates with Docker at the system level to do its thing. So if you update Portainer, unless you do something crazy off the wall, you're not going to run into any issues. Portainer is just another Docker container that gives you a graphical user interface to deploy other containers. That's all it is. So definitely take a look at updating Portainer to the newest version. You're going to have better luck with that. So definitely check out the video I sent, and you should be good to go. Yeah, nope. I get that same banner pop up on mine as well. It's kind of frustrating because, like you said, like I'm already on 2.1.1, but yep, it sure does keep showing that. I agree. That's kind of frustrating. So I'm just going to dismiss it. They need to do a version check before they display that. I may reach out to them and have them change that, or put up the offer or the idea for them to change that. So yeah, definitely. Let's see. Yeah, so yeah, updating Portainer. It's just like 2 or 3 commands. It's not a big deal. And then yeah, so that should be that. But I think, guys, we've been at this an hour and 45 minutes. My voice is starting to go. I can actually feel it and hear it. So I'm gonna go ahead. I don't know what the heck. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I do want to thank you guys very much for joining me, hanging out. You know, whether it was for 4 minutes and 13 seconds, like it says my average watch time is, or you've been here for the beginning, or from the beginning, you just got here, whatever. Thank you guys for joining. I always appreciate you guys showing up and hanging out. And chatting with me and talking about tech. I do appreciate that. I'll try to have, yeah, man, I don't know what to tell you. Nope. Yep. No, that's all very strange stuff. I have to wonder, there's got to be a disconnect somewhere in there, David, as far as why you do the Docker container LS, but not seeing it in Portainer. There's got to be a disconnect somewhere in there, but like I said, I got to get off of here. My voice is starting to go. It's starting to get raspy. So I'm going to go pop a throat lozenge and hope that things get better. Thank you guys so much. I'm trying to do these every Sunday. My first one I started at like 8 or 9 or 8 or 8:30. So I'm trying to do these a little later, just because it's just easier. So yeah, so hopefully you guys will join me next weekend. Hopefully I'll see some familiar faces next weekend as well. But hope you all have a great week. Like I said, I'm going to wrap this up. So thanks for your time, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.